Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. Hi YouTube. This has truly been the most fun that I have ever had as a YouTuber because I not only got to talk about Descendants and Zombies, I had the honor of meeting each and every one of you. Together we shared in our stories that made us fans of Descendants and Zombies, and that's what made it all worth it for me. Because I always wanted to fall into a niche that would be acceptable of how I felt about the future of it, and Descendants and Zombies just happened to be that niche for me because I had the opportunity to not only talk about Descendants and Zombies as a story, but my favorite characters as well, that were represented by Clarke and Malia Baker, Dove Cameron, Ruby Rose Turner throughout the years, and I never ever forgot the opportunity I had from the very first moment I ever talked about Descendants and Zombies. I never knew how every video that I posted would be received, but the response that I got for every video that I posted was truly unphenomenal and unparalleled to anything that I had ever experienced in my lifetime. And for that, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who believed in my vision for Descendants and Zombies, who came along with me on this incredible journey where I got to discover not only my passions for Descendants and Zombies, but my true calling, because this was meant to happen for me. To be able to sit behind this microphone to record my thoughts on Descendants and Zombies, share with you my opinions, what direction I thought the story was headed in, because we still have a long way to go. And for those of you who believe that this story is far from over, perhaps you should continue on believing that for the foreseeable future. Because indeed there is a future when it comes to Descendants and Zombies, especially Zombies, because Zombies 5 will happen. In case you didn't hear me the first time, Zombies 5 will happen. And I say this with 100% confidence because why do you think they invested so much time into a new cast? It had everything to do with how they wanted to secure the future of Zombies 5 and the entire franchise, because we still have so many characters to join the conversation. We have so much of a story to explore and to be excited about. I, for one, would love to see Zombies hit the IMAX, and I say this because seeing Zombies and Descendants in IMAX would give Descendants and Zombies an opportunity to be seen more widely and to be seen by a more global fan base, because this happened for Hannah Montana and High School Musical so many years back. So because it happened for Hannah Montana and High School Musical so many years prior, there's really no reason why this can't happen for Descendants and Zombies, because of its unparalleled popularity, how people feel about it, how they can relate to these characters. I think seeing it in IMAX is something that needs to happen. Which is why I wish I was the producer and the writer behind Descendants and Zombies, because I would offer so much creative incentive for Descendants and Zombies, so much of a creative direction. Because for forever there's been an issue with how the director's chair for Descendants and Zombies has been a revolving door. It's been a revolving opportunity that so many people have seized and really taken advantage of. Come in for one chapter of Descendants and Zombies and just kind of faded off into obscurity and been forgotten about. I think more of an opportunity needs to be taken for these writers and producers and directors to really take advantage of it, to really seize an opportunity. And not only that, but you've got to have somebody directing this, sitting in the director's chair, that is just as dedicated to Descendants and Zombies and producing it as each and every one of you have become. Because many of you have become enthralled because of the story. Many of you have become captivated because of your favorite characters. I think everybody has a reason as to why they're a fan of Descendants and Zombies. You know, years ago, I used to collect a lot of things. I used to collect Pokemon cards, Pongs, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Zords, and action figures, professional wrestling action figures, and I felt very passionate about it. Years ago, Disney had a phenomenal way of releasing action figures based off their most successful franchises like Gargoyles. And years ago, Gargoyles had very detailed action figures that were really cool to collect. And it was so fun to collect Gargoyles action figures. I was a huge fan of the series from at least 1994 up until 1999. And it was so fun seeing this animated TV series be brought to life. Apparently, there's a rumor floating around online right now. They're going to turn it into a live-action series for Disney Plus up and coming. I'm really excited about it, and I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't really excited about it, because I remember being a fan of it. And I know what it's like. A lot of that has to do with how I know what it's like to be a fan of something, and to really feel inspired about whatever you talk about, whatever you post videos about. So you've got to show up every single time, present a case and a point as to why you're a fan of something such as Descendants and Zombies. For me, it had everything to do with the music. How I think everybody who watched it felt accepted at one point or another. No matter what chapter of Descendants you remember watching. The original trilogy, Descendants 2, by Descendants 2, the music had gotten better. The story was that much deeper. And I think more people felt more incentive and felt more of a reason to be in love with the Descendants and Zombies franchises and have been in love with it ever since. Forever people will miss the contributions of Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, and I get that. But as we miss the contributions of past stars like Cameron Boyce, Dove Cameron, and Sophia Carson, which are names I can't forget to mention, which I never post enough videos about like I used to do years ago, I think what we need to do is we need to move on with the times, and we need to accept that the times are changing, and Descendants of Zombies has really evolved into something far more spectacular than I think many of us have ever given us credit for. Because we've seen things like the Worlds Collide Tour happen. We've seen moments like Freya Sky get more opportunities to go on a world tour, which is something I'm really excited about for Freya because she deserves this. If there ever was a Descendants of Zombies star who deserved more exposure and deserved to be talked about more in a nice way, it was Freya Sky, because I saw her be victim of so much criticism early on in her career. Nobody really wanted to give her much of a chance. Early on, following the premiere of Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires, my heart was extended out to Freya Sky because I knew she was going to be something special. That was something truly undeniable. And that's why I can post so many videos about Freya Sky and have no regrets and have never looked back since. Because I think she has every quality, every aspect of a superstar, and deserves to be in the same conversations that we put Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande in all the time. Sure, Ariana Grande did a phenomenal job at Wicked for Good. I've given Ariana Grande so much praise for her portrayal of Belinda the Good Witch in Wicked for Good, and I will continue to in the foreseeable future. But my issue with the same 3 or 4 celebrities being talked about all the time is that there's never enough of a spotlight given to Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner for how phenomenal of a job they've done bringing Descendants of Zombies to life. Because for the first time in every one of our individual lives, for some reason, we felt inspired by Descendants of Zombies. We felt as if we were part of something special and meant to be a part of something special for forever. And that's what the creation of this YouTube channel allowed me to do. It allowed me to fall into a niche, feel accepted by that niche, and provide you commentaries on Descendants of Zombies and go on to have 3,000 subscribers plus, which is something I will never ever forget. No matter where I go, whatever becomes of me, I will never forget the profound impact each video that I had the honor of recording for each and every one of you had on my life. Because it had a profound impact on my life. And together we cried, together we laughed, together we shared every emotion. We shared in our stories that made us fans of Descendants of Zombies. And some of you are quite unique. Some of you have very different reasons for being fans of Descendants of Zombies. And I'm here to tell you guys there's nothing wrong with being a fan of Descendants of Zombies. To feel encouraged that Zombies 5 will happen. Even if it doesn't happen until 2028. Because all that means, even if it doesn't happen until 2028, is that I will have to record videos of Descendants of Zombies for the rest of my life, which I've never had any issues with. I've loved recording videos of Descendants of Zombies from the very beginning. I will continue to record videos of Descendants of Zombies, even if that means I have to record videos of Descendants of Zombies, in fact, for the rest of my life. I record videos of Descendants of Zombies between 8:35 and 9:05 every morning because I feel passionate about characters that brought us all closer together, like Addison and Zed, of course, Victor and Nova, Red and Chloe, of course, the upcoming debut of Red's sister Pink in Descendants 5, Book of Wonderland, which many of you are really excited about. And if you're excited about the debut of Pink, played by Leah Mighty Segura, I encourage that, because I am too. Because the introduction of Red having a sister in the Descendants franchise will open up the door for far more innovative storylines than we have ever seen before in our lives. And that is the one thing that I'm incredibly excited about, and to talk about with each and every one of you, because I remember her in High School Musical, the series. You know, this was the first series that Disney had created off the success of one of its most revered franchises of all time, High School Musical, because of characters like Zac Efron, Ashley Tisdale, Vanessa Hudgens, Gabriela Montez, Sharpay Evans, Troy Bolton. I mean, we will never forget their contributions to a franchise that went on to achieve so much severity. But again, it had everything to do with the music. It didn't pride itself on a story. High School Musical never really presented us with a story that we could take into consideration that we remembered. We remembered the iconic characters and the songs that represented them. And they felt represented by. They felt accepted by. And I think that's why High School Musical came into its own, because of its music. It never had anything to do with the story. But when you talk about Descendants of Zombies had everything to do with a passion for creating music and developing a story. Because each character had a backstory, regardless of how many people said there were no backstories for Evie and Mal. There were backstories for every character. You just had to look deeper to find them. And it all came down to how much each and every one of us believed in these individual characters and how much of a story they told us throughout the progression of the original Descendants trilogy. Now, while the original Descendants trilogy focused on friendships and relationships more than the development of a story, and eventually by Descendants 2 and Descendants 3, we went deeper into those stories. I think The Rise of Red really picked up where the original trilogy left off, and a lot of the mistakes that the original trilogy had made. Like, I really would have appreciated more of a development of a story that would have focused more on characters like the daughter of Milan and her friendship with Jay, which began in Descendants 2. That was phenomenal, how all of a sudden Milan had a daughter from out of nowhere, and she had some kind of attraction to Jay. And I really liked that, and I think they could have went deeper with that. There were also more characters in Disney franchises that have a greater appreciation to be looked at, like characters from Aladdin, Princess and the Frog, and Encanto, which are up and coming in Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland. So because we have new characters that we've never seen before in the Descendants franchise, that should give us something to be excited about. I think more than ever, people have felt intrigued by the Descendants franchises, have felt inspired by the characters, and all the moments they've created for us in the original classics and will create for us being a part of the Descendants franchise moving forward. Because as hard as it is to do, it's all about moving forward and the progression of the development of a storyline for a fan base that continues to grow every single day. Because the fan base of Descendants of Zombies is extremely loyal. And there are so many fans of Descendants of Zombies who know everything there is to know. So that puts a lot of pressure on a YouTuber to upload videos about Descendants of Zombies. Because you've not only got to talk about Descendants of Zombies, you've got to know everything there is to know about Descendants of Zombies. Or at least you should know everything there is to know about Descendants of Zombies. What are your favorite top 5 moments, your top 10 favorite songs in the franchise? I think there are so many moments from the Zombies franchise that we remember perhaps more than the Descendants franchise, because in the Zombies franchise there were so many moments where Zed and Addison realized they wanted to spend the rest of their lives together. The iconic elevator scene where he told Addison that if the zombies didn't win a football, zombies would never be accepted, where she realized the treatment of zombies in Seabrook was totally unfair. I think at those moments they realized they loved each other. They may have never said they loved each other, but they definitely realized there was a point in time where they did love each other, and they wanted to spend the rest of their lives together, no matter what sacrifices they had to make. That's what made this story so beautiful. I remember so many iconic scenes. The very first moment Zed caught Addison in his arms when she pulled up a cheerleading move when she was trying out for the cheerleading squad for Seabrook. The moment where he realized that if he didn't win a football, zombies would never be accepted. The moment where she realized that zombies were being treated unfairly. The moment where songs like Legends in the Making became so iconic and went on to achieve so much rarity, because I think we all want to become legends in the making in our own right. I think everybody's felt very passionate about Descendants of Zombies. Maybe I'm just saying this because I have a greater appreciation for theater and how people who are involved in theater go above and beyond the requirements of anyone ever having been involved in theater to really bring something to life. And I think that after having been involved in stage productions like Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, Phantom of the Opera, The Lion King, High School Musical, I've been there for it all, and I've seen it all. And I think I've come away with a greater appreciation for how much effort and time goes into the development of a script. And these individual characters that really bring a script to life. I've watched so many YouTube videos where people try to feel passionate about Descendants of Zombies, but they just can't get it done. And the reason why they can't get it done is because they don't have an understanding of what their audience wants. What their audience wants to see, wants to get the most out of every video that's ever uploaded. And I think that's what's so special about the audience of Descendants of Zombies, is that they know what they want, they know who they love, and they find time in appreciating everybody who uploads videos about Descendants of Zombies when they showcase the greater appreciation for these characters who have undeniably come a long way. And we have so many characters. The unique thing about the Zombies franchise is we have so many characters that still have a long way to go. Because it's undeniable that Freya Sky still has a long way to go. It's also undeniable that I'm a huge fan and supporter of Freya Sky after everything I've seen her go through. On December 2nd, the song Silent Treatment will finally be released. It's the official release party for the song Silent Treatment, and this has been a long time coming for Freya Sky. Just to let you guys know, I will be uploading a video about Freya Sky's new single Silent Treatment on the night of its premiere, which will be midnight on December 2nd, which I'm really excited about. I have never felt more intrigued about everything that Freya Sky has happening for her, has going on, because of the response from fans. because the response from fans has been truly undeniable and something I will never ever forget because you guys love her so much. That is something that is so undeniable about fans of Freya Sky and Kylie Control, is that you guys have never quit on her from the very beginning. So when I see criticism directed towards Kylie Control, when I hear this all the time, I feel as if never enough can be done about it to let people know how we truly feel about Kylie Control, because the least we can do is upload videos about Kylie Control that actually make sense to people who have forever and always been supportive of her. Because I don't see any room in any conversation for criticism about your favorite stars. I've always had a fear about being forgotten, and somewhere deep within their hearts, they also have a fear of being forgotten, always wondering if their contributions are really worth it and if they're good enough. I think every single time they step out onto a stage or they perform on the set of Descendants and Zombies, they are good enough and their performances are acceptable. And I think that because their performances are exceptional and acceptable in so many unforgettable ways, because they've gone on to captivate millions of hearts through their powerful performances as Addison Wells, Princess Red, Princess Pink, Ruby Rose Turner's character Bridget, who definitely put a stronger amplification on just how much further kindness can take a person in this lifetime. I think these contributions will never ever be forgotten, and they deserve to be talked about. And they deserve to be talked about in a spotlight. Well, they share the spotlight with each and every one of you. And when it comes to opportunities offered to them outside of Descendants of Zombies, I couldn't be more excited to hear Ruby Rose Turner's name being included in the conversation to play Rapunzel in the upcoming live-action Tangled. Because the live-action Tangled is something that I'm a huge fan of. I remember how Tangled was first released in 2010 at the Capitan Theater on November 23rd, 2010. And it was a memorable moment in history because Disney was really coming into its own because of classics like this. It went on to become an instant classic, and I went on to become one of the biggest fans of Tangled ever. I saw so much potential in every character, how much life was brought to the franchise, and I think that if there ever was one to take a chance on for a live action, it would be the live action Tangled. Now, yesterday, I believe it was, Tangled and Toy Story celebrated their 30th anniversary and their 15th anniversaries, 15 years for Tangled, 30 years for Toy Story, and I believe also 35 years was commemorated for Beauty and the Beast. That just goes to show how revered these classics have become and how much they have forever and always held a special place in each and every one of our hearts and how much they've meant to each and every one of us. I think we each have a reason for being fans of Beauty and the Beast, Tangled, Toy Story. Many of us, as I read down through the comments, remember having the original VHS tape, the VHS cassette, for the Toy Story release, which was happening back in 1995. I think there are so many moments that have made us fans of Descendants and Zombies that we will never ever forget. And I think these moments undeniably have brought us that much closer together. And I think these are moments that we are always and forever going to feel as if we're a part of. And there are so many moments. The unique thing about these franchises are there are so many moments left to create. And so many moments that I'm so excited to be a part of with each and every one of you and because of each and every one of you. Because I would not be sitting here today if not for the profound impact that Descendants of Zombies has had on my heart. It's a profound impact that I will never ever forget, and I will forever and always miss you guys because you guys have forever and always held a very special place in my heart for allowing me the opportunity to have come into your lives as your voice of Descendants of Zombies, but not only to be your voice of Descendants of Zombies, to talk with you about how I felt about Descendants of Zombies. You guys allowed me to share that opportunity with each and every one of you, share my experiences for being a Descendants of Zombies fan, and for that, I just simply want to say thank you. So if you are somebody who has not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to think about doing that right now. Go ahead and get that out of the way. Because I have so much to share with you about Descendants of Zombies. So many predictions that have yet to be made. So many discussions that have yet to be had. Because as far as I'm concerned, this story never has to be over. It doesn't have to be over. And those of you who have been led to believe that this story should have ended long before now should probably take a step back and really put into perspective of just how far we have to go with these stories before we get to a climax. Because the climax is far away from ever happening, and we have so much happening. We have so much to talk about as it relates to Descendants of Zombies. And it's one conversation that I'm incredibly excited to be a part of. So if you would do me the honor of coming along with me on this incredible journey, I would be more than honored to talk about it with each and every one of you because we still have so much to talk about. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to go ahead and do that by hitting my subscribe button, giving me a like or two, And of course, ring my bell to stay up to date with notifications for everything happening on this YouTube channel, because it's so fun for me having the honor to talk about Descendants of Zombies with a global audience. Something I never ever thought I would have the honor of sharing with each and every one of you. But I know that it's an honor that I will never ever forget, because there's so much to talk about as it relates to Descendants of Zombies. And thank you so much for sharing in your thoughts and your stories and your predictions that have been made early on for Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland, the upcoming Zombies 5. Even though it's not happening until 2028, we still have a long way to go, but it doesn't mean that we can't get there and get there together. Thank you so much for having watched this video. I'm your host, Jonathan Clarke. You have been watching the next episode of Jonathan Clarke Video Blogs. Thank you so much for watching, because life is that much sweeter when all of us are, and all that remains for us to do is to stay calm into that unforeseeable future. Stay calm and zombie on, because indeed there is a future for Descendants of Zombies, and one that I'm incredibly excited to be a part of with each and every one of you.